Hi, my name is Winston Gao, and today we're going to talk about water softeners. What are water softeners? Well, normally here in America, water softeners basically means adding sodium chloride or potassium chloride. Now, these things act as an ion exchange. So that means they're going to exchange the salt or the potassium ion for calcium and magnesium. And it's a one-to-one exchange, okay? So they're going to take out the calcium, magnesium, and they're going to replace it with the sodium chloride or the potassium chloride. Now, normally, like waters here in Florida, our water is like 380, 400 parts per million, also call those TDS, total dissolved solids. And total dissolved solids, the higher the numbers, the harder the water is. So most people may have only 200 or 100. You're lucky. And people of us that have 400, 500, 600 or more, our water is very, very hard. So when you start using sodium chloride or potassium chloride on a one-to-one exchange basis, you're going to swap out 400 parts per million of calcium and magnesium, which is probably good for you, for 400 to 500 parts of salt in replacement. Ideally, you shouldn't have more than 10, maybe 20 parts per million of sodium chloride in your water. But remember, it's a one-to-one exchange. So suddenly now you're going to have 400 or 300 parts per million of salt in your water. That's not too good. We all know, especially the wrong kind of salt, which does not have any trace amounts, just pure salt and maybe a little bit of aluminum and some other toxic chemicals. This is a great type of salt to have heart disease and other problems, right? Now, when you talk about Celtic sea salt or Celtic sea salt, depending on how you want to pronounce it, that's a full spectrum salt. That won't give you the heart disease issue that normal table salt will give you. So when doctor says don't take salt or have a low salt diet, they really should be more precise in saying don't take any table salt, because that is a true statement. That will give you more hardening of the arteries and problems for your circulatory systems because it hardens the arteries, right? So the heart has to work harder, so therefore you'll have high blood pressure, etc., etc. So when people say don't go for a high salt diet, remember, you must remember that there is good salt and bad salt. Celtic sea salt, which has 93 plus elements, is a good salt. The regular table salt, which has sodium, chloride, and aluminum as its primary three ingredients, and sometimes they have sugar and dextrose inside of it. Yes, dextrose, sugar mixed in your salt to help it flow better so when it rains it still pours well, you know. So there's other fancy chemistry, and that's why the aluminum's there too, is also to help the salt to pour easily. So water softeners, when you read the label, it'll also tell you that when you use water softeners, you should be using also an option to put a reverse osmosis unit in the house to remove the salt. Why? Because it's on fine print. It says, do not feed to your plants, do not feed your fish tanks, because this water will kill the plants or the fish. But it's okay for you to drink. Especially if we have the option for you to buy another piece of equipment called the reverse osmosis water. Of course, when you buy the reverse osmosis water, you now have acidic water, which also has no minerals, which tends to leach from your body. And also it has a slight tendency to grow fungus some of the time. So aside from that, it's great water. So as you can tell, I don't like reverse osmosis personally. So that's my opinion. So as far as salt, you should really watch how much salt is in your water. And when you have a water softener, which a lot of people have water softeners in the house, you are consuming, instead of 10 or 20 parts per million of salt, you may be consuming between 200, 400 or greater parts per million of salt in your drinking water. And you don't need me to tell you that that's probably not a good idea to do. So thank you very much for watching today. See you the next time.